I was sitting idle, just doodling on my screen. Just when it hit me that wait, what? Hybrid Logic app is out? I need to own the YouTube algorithm. I need to make the video quickly. I need to act. So I decided I'll set up the hybrid environment and make the video before anyone else. But it was not that easy. Just like a good kid, I went to the Azure portal, went to my resource group, clicked on create, hoping that it'll create the logic apps. But, but, what is this connected environment? I was surprised. I was devastated. But I didn't give up. I wanted to figure this out for the YouTube algorithm. So just like any good boy, I went to the documentation. Half an hour I wasted being lost in this beautiful diagram. Turns out that we have some prerequisites to create a hybrid logic app. We have to create a Kubernetes cluster to be used as compute power for the hybrid logic app. And it was not a small documentation. But regardless, I started line by line, opened my terminal, started executing the first line of the code. And I didn't have AZ client installed. So just like a good boy, I installed it. I already had Homebrew installed, so I just got the brew command and I installed it. I tried the AZ login command again, and this time it worked. Had to initialize the following variables, so did that. After setting those variables, I picked up all the commands and pasted them like a lazy guy, which did not work. The issue was that the documentation did not have backslash. So like a good student, I added those. And then I ran the lines below the line which had error. And then I waited like a good student. And I waited for a long time. And it did finally complete. Back to running the next commands. The next command was to install kubectl in Windows, but I was using a Mac. Also, I had kubectl already installed. If you don't have kubectl installed, install it for your operating system. Moving forward, this command was for installing Helm, but I didn't have that installed, so I'll show how to install that for Mac system. I had Homebrew already installed, so I just pasted the brew command and that's it. The next command was to install the CSI driver into your Kubernetes cluster. There was an issue here as well because we didn't have our Kubernetes cluster stored in the context. So you need to run the following command to store that. Replace the resource group and AKS name with your names respectively. Install the CSI driver now and back to the documentation again. Here is another issue here. That is because this particular provider is not registered on the subscription. Just register the provider to solve the issue. Moving on. The next step here is to create a connected cluster. It was pretty standard copy and paste after this. We created log analytics workspace. Then we installed the Arc extension onto our connected cluster, and then we were just going to create a new environment when this happened. Installing of extension failed. Now, this failure was because we could not get our log analytics value correctly in the variables. The commands given in the documentation are for Windows operating system, and in Mac OS they were facing issues. Now these are the commands that you require instead of the ones given in the documentation if you are using Mac OS. But just a general advice, Do not run the create or install extension command again because that won't work. You need to delete your AKS and start from the very first line. At least that's what I did. And I've done this hundreds of times.
So I deleted both the resource groups that were created in the process, and I was again at step 1. I was thinking of giving up, but I just wanted to try it one more time. Everything would be same. I'll just get the log analytics ID from the code that I got from the ChatGPT. And from the ashes I rose to complete a mission. It for sure wasn't easy. And it was not simple at all. But I did it. I finally was able to install the extension, to create a connected environment, to beat the YouTube algorithm. I'll get views, I'll get money. But coming back to the code, I had to create a custom location and also a connected environment to be used in Logic apps. So I went ahead and did that. So I started by checking my extension ID. It was correct. Then I went to create a custom location. I gave it a custom name. Once my custom location was created, I had to store the ID and create a connected environment to be used in Logic apps. Once I had the connected environment, all I had to do was to use the power that I just got, and I used it. Now no one can stop me from getting those views. I went to the Azure portal. I created a Logic app. I used the connected environment that I just created to do that. And that's all. That's how you create a hybrid Logic app. But wait, what? Storage? There's more. Wait for the next video. I'll cover that as well.